And now, just after Kent Tonight, there will be another episode of the Kent Film Club. So before we go, I'm joined by our resident film expert and host of the show, Chris Deacy. Chris, as always, thank you so much for coming in. Top of the programme today, we're talking about A-level results, so T-levels and B-Techs, of course. GCSE results days next week. But what films can we watch to take our mind off results or maybe feel inspired for the next chapter?
Well, one of the films that I saw this week, and actually it's a year since, and actually you just reminded me because it was on clearing day last year that I first came in the studio. It was like I was going through an initiation test. But there's a new M. Night Shyamalan film out, because he made The Sixth Sense 25 years ago, which was back out at the cinemas in a 25-year anniversary rerun the other week. But he's got a new film called Trap, and it's got lots of twists. The trouble with M. Night Shyamalan is that, of course, when you know that there's going to be a twist, the whole film pivots around that. When you know what the twist is, you then think, oh, have we just been conned? But actually, there's a lot going on in it. It's a very sort of stadium-based film. And it's also got, now, do you remember the film The Parent Trap with Hayley Mills, the daughter of John Mills, who's now in her late 70s, but she plays an FBI psychologist, so completely out of character. And the film's like that. It wrong-foots you, putting people in roles where you wouldn't, it feels very incongruous. So if you want a nice respite from all that's going on at the moment, that's a film that will keep you guessing right through to the end. And
lots of other films out at the cinema. But let's importantly talk about this. You just gave it away. 1 year of the Kent Film Club, essentially now, isn't it?
Yeah, and I can't believe it. So we must have done 50-odd episodes here with a range of people who are academics, filmmakers, screenwriters. We had a wonderful, I'll come to that in a minute, but somebody that, who'll be on in the show tonight, who works in sound design and experimental sound in film. So a complete cross-section of people, journalists, politicians, mayors of the different parts of Medway and Kent. So it's been a wonderful ride, and I've learned so much about people. And of course, like yourself and others
I was on the show
KMTV.
once, wasn't I? Yeah, I mean, what surprised you about it? Because you obviously hear 4 films from different people. Has anything surprised you? Any consistency in traits or like correlations going on between people?
Well, it's always funny when somebody might say, and we had it with one guest who said at the beginning, he said, I don't like horror. And he said, but my first film is horror. And I thought, okay, fair enough. Then his second choice, he said, yeah, I'm not really into horror, but actually and I was thinking, hang on, if you don't like horror, it's interesting you're going for that. But that's the crucial thing, is that people are often making decisions and choosing films that either completely fit their character, or sometimes it's sort of like, it's that transgression. It's the sort of going somewhere, and it's sort of like saying, this film took me somewhere I didn't necessarily want to go, but it stayed with me forever. So I learned so much about the person when they're revealing their film choices.
Well, there is another episode tonight. Who's your guest and what sort of films will you be talking about?
OK, well, Edie Brennan is our guest, and she works in sound design, and she lectures on that at Canterbury Christ Church. And, well, the first film actually is a film that I saw at the Curzon not long ago, The Zone of Interest, a Holocaust-based film. And it's where the horror of the Holocaust is accentuated by the use of music and sound. So she does a brilliant job in each of her 4 choices, actually, of showing that the role of sound in accentuating and indeed circumscribing and explaining why a film matters.
Really interesting, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, all the other episodes are on our website, kmtv.co.uk, along with all our other special programmes. But that is it for Kent Tonight this evening. Film Club straight after this in a few minutes. Good night.